Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we've got the real-world Daily Motor commuter fuel economy test on the 2023 Honda XR150L. This bike has been making a bit of a stir in the motorcycle world here in North America because despite the fact that this has been offered in many other countries for a long period of time, this is the first time here in America that we're getting access to purchase this bike new on the showroom floor. And it's one of the most affordable models you can buy. Honda advertises it for just under $3,000, but obviously you got to factor in destination, taxes, and dealer assembly fees and everything. So realistically speaking, you're looking at about $4,000 for a carbureted single-cylinder 150cc bike. And before you get up in arms about the price or anything like that, if you just need a little runaround style motorcycle, similar kind of category to something like a Honda Grom or a Monkey or a Trail 125, this might be the most fun and simple way to do it. It's very lightweight, although not as lightweight as you might want it to be compared to something like a XR150L or 300L or a KLX 300. But it's so simple, it's so lighthearted and fun-natured and comfortable that a lot of people might consider having it around for a little commuter style motorcycle. So in this video, we're going to head out and do a 41.5 mile loop that I've been doing with nearly 10 bikes now at this point. I'm trying to get up to 10. We can compare some data at that point. But it's going to be varied between 55, 45, 35 mile an hour roads, some 25 section, and we are going to take this on the highway. It's going to be fully pinned. It's going to be a bit treacherous. We're probably going to have to stay in the right lane, but legally you can do that here in California, and I've done it a few times, and it is relatively safe as motorcycling can get, I assume. If you do want to see more on the XR150L, check the link below. We're going to have our full review and a little daily motor or winding road ride as well. But without any further ado, let's hop on this thing and get going. So a few things to note for this test. Like I said, it is going to be 41 miles of mixed riding. We do have our tire pressures set at the recommended, without a passenger, riding PSI of 22 front and rear. We've got the OEM tires on there. And I'm going to be riding as somebody might, maybe on a normal kind of morning commute. I'm not going to be really ringing on it and ringing it all the way out to red line in every gear. But that being said, you kind of do have to go full throttle through every gear just to get up to speed on this. No tachometer, no fuel gauge. This thing is very rudimentary. It feels like riding an old school dirt bike, and I really like it. I really do. It's so fun to have a bike like this around to just beat on. And I've done some fairly decent off-road trail riding on this and some city riding, but this is going to be a good test being in the saddle for an extended period of time. No sort of holder for the gas cap. You just got to put it somewhere. We are just running regular fuel. That's all you need on this bike. Anything higher than that's not going to get you any advantages. All right, there we are, topped off. Not something I'd recommend doing regularly on your bike, but for the sake of science, that's what we're doing today. And we are ready to roll out. I'm going to reset the odometer, or rather the tripometer right here. Cool analog style. Whoops, went past. There we go, zeroed out. So I'm going to saddle up and do these 41.5 miles. In the meantime, enjoy this time lapse of the entire ride. after about an hour and a half of riding, we are back and fueled up on the Honda XR150L. And I gotta say, after all the multi-hour rides I've done on this bike so far, I'm continually impressed with how comfortable it is. Between the big cushy seat, the low foot pegs relatively, and a very upright dual sport and dirt bike style riding position, I've spent hours on this bike with no discomfort. It's really impressive as a commuter and a bike to spend a good amount of time on. And I should say that I was able to fairly easily run the highway on this bike. The speed limits on the highway are 65 here in this part of Southern California, and with a little bit of traffic and a little bit of drafting, I was actually able to go right in the middle lanes, even all the way over to the fast lane a few times to make passes. Now, anytime there's an uphill or a strong headwind, it slows down quite a bit, so I'm not saying it's necessarily all that safe or all that easy, but you can do highway running here in on more city-type highways with the XR150. Now, I don't know if I'd go out to where the speed limits are 75 or 80 in the desert and try to run highway there, but still pretty darn usable. Now, I've got some fuel economy numbers for us here. We ended up putting in 0.549 gallons at the pump, brimming it right back up like we did the first time. We traveled 41.5 miles. 41.5 divided by that 0.549 has given us 76 miles per gallon, or 3.1 liters per 100 kilometers. And that is a little bit lower than some people might have expected. I know a lot of numbers are going around out there saying this will get well over 100 MPG, but I could guarantee you it's that highway portion that really sucks down the most fuel. I mean, it's just physics at that point to use fuel to motivate the bike up to those type of speeds. Even though this is lighter than anything we've tested and has a smaller motor than anything we've tested, you've still got to use fuel to make energy to go those speeds. So I bet if you were just running around town, you'd be able to see well over 90 MPG on the XR150L. But if you're going to be using it as a commuter like that and running it quick and hard and using up all of that displacement, still, 76, not terrible, although I should also point out, pretty similar to what we saw on the Honda CRF 300L Rally that we tested. And that one has got you fuel injection and a windshield and definitely more capability. Now, we do have a pretty good sized fuel tank on the XR, so 2.8 gallons times that 76 miles per gallon is giving you just over 210 miles of cruising range here on the XR150L. So you're definitely not going to be having to swing in and throw fuel into this every day for your commute. If you commute something like 50 miles, you could get almost a week of running around, depending on how you're riding, out of one tank on this bike. So I think it's got a lot going for it as a commuter. It really does. It's lightweight. It's fun. It's got passenger foot pegs if you need to run somebody down the street. It's got a little luggage rack built in. You can put a crate on there or tie something down if you need to. It's comfortable. No sort of instrumentation, so make sure you know how much fuel is in. Maybe reset your tripometer, which we'll do again right here, or give yourself here, and make sure you check the time and the temperature before you leave. But yeah, pretty cool bike. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the XR150, check the link below, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, ride on.